This is Across This Quiet Land, stories from the hearts of Canada. I'm Gerard Damon. Today, we are honored to sit down with a Canadian basketball legend and community builder, Bobby Allen. We will discuss purpose, roots, legacy, and basketball as character building. In every neighborhood, there's a kid whose dreams stretch farther than the pavement beneath his feet. In every community, there are names whispered not just for points they scored, but for the hearts they lifted. Bobby Allen is one of those names. From the asphalt courts of Malton, Ontario, to arenas across this world, he traveled, but it was his purpose that he return home stronger. Today, he stands as a teacher, a mentor, a guardian of youth potential. He now builds youth leaders. He shapes character. He plants seeds in the community where he once ran as a kid with a ball and a vision. On Across This Quiet Land today, we explore not just the game, but the people who carry it into the future. Today, we explore discipline, faith, community, and legacy through the story of Canadian basketball pioneer and mentor Bobby Allen. Welcome, Bobby.
Thanks for having me.
Well, it's great to have you here. So we're going to talk about, first of all, roots and becoming hungry. You grew up in Malton, a place with talent and grit. How did that environment shape the player and the man you became?
Well, it's it was a very small community, but it was a together community, and no one really looked at us as anything. So I tried to go out and let people know what we're all about. So, to be successful, pretty much you normally transfer to a Toronto school or something like that and to get your name out. But I wanted to make a name for Malton instead of going and joining. I wanted to do it where, I can give kids confidence to stay home instead of jumping on the bus or whatever to go to a Toronto school.
Yeah, like a George Harvey or Runnymede or
Yeah,
Bathurst or whatever.
exactly.
Yeah. So who were your early influences on the court and off?
Um, Off the court, my dad is my big influence because he always told me to get something, you have to be twice as good as the other person. So I just translated that to my basketball. On the court, there was a whole bunch of guys that, just I watched. In the NBA, it's Michael Jordan. At home, I had George McNeil, Kevin St. Kitts, Wayne Yearwood, Dwight Walton, just a bunch of people, Emilio Barnesworth. Even though he wasn't a star, he was a guy that was in my ear. He saw something in me when I was young. So it was a bunch of guys, but off the court is my dad pushing me to tell me it doesn't matter what obstacles to go after it.
That's awesome. That's great. Now, when did basketball shift from something you loved to something you needed?
I got into a situation where I felt I had to do this. Like some people are playing it for a sport, and I looked at them like, you guys don't know how bad I want this. I need this. I want to play pro. I want to play NCAA. They might say, well, it's just a game, but it wasn't just a game to me. This is around grade 11.
Okay. So it just kind of started becoming real.
It was very addictive.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, when did you realize you weren't just playing basketball, you were studying it?
Early, because one day I was playing basketball and I was probably in grade 9. And one of the senior guys came up to me and goes, Bobby, can I ask you some advice? And I was like, what? You're like, and he goes, you see stuff different than we do. So even though I was smaller, he came and asked me advice. And then I realized something's wrong, something's different. But I was shorter. And then I grew, then everything went together. So, I saw the floor different. People are playing one-on-one. I wasn't playing one-on-one because if somebody was open, they got the ball. I knew what guys could do on offense. I knew what they could do on defense. If a guy was trying to muscle me, I'd use my finesse. If a guy couldn't shoot, I'd back off him, and it was early. So I started reading the
Hmm.
game from early.
So as coaches would say, you were an early student of the game.
Yes, I was. I loved the game so much. So yeah, it was easy. And plus, I played soccer, and I think soccer has your head on a swivel, so you're always looking around.
That's excellent. No, yeah, that it all makes sense, like those connections. Yes, of course, soccer, and of course, Steve Nash, who you played with, he started
Yes,
in soccer too, right?
yeah, he was
And
very good at soccer.
yeah. Now, what values from your upbringing still ground you today?
I think being honest, don't cheat anything, just being honest. Like I've never tried to cheat anybody to play basketball. I've never tried to cheat any customers when they bring their kids. I argue with them to say, please, take your kid out. He doesn't love basketball, and you're coming to a ex-professional basketball player. I figure you gotta love it and you want to fight. So why is he not working hard? Take him out. So even though I could just get a whole bunch of money, I'm just stealing money from people that just want to know me or whatever. I'm like telling the parents, you know what, this is not working out. Because honesty goes a long way in working hard.
That makes sense. I mean, trying is your expectation. If you want to be good at something,
Gotta
that's like the
push.
first thing. You got to try, you got to push, right?
Yeah.
And unfortunately, parents can't be the only ones doing the pushing. The kids got to push themselves, right?
A lot of the parents, they want it more than the kids.
Right. Yeah. That is very true.
My
So,
15 years, yeah. In my 15
yeah,
years, I see it.
makes sense. What was the first moment you felt basketball could genuinely change your life?
Uh, the first moment, well, after I made the Ontario team, I was playing with 4 Division 1 guys on my Ontario team, and I was finishing grade 11. And all 4 of those guys had just finished their first year in NCAA. I was better than them, and I realized. And then they were telling me, "You're a pro," and I was like, "Man, I was just happy to make this team." And like
Yeah.
all 4 D1 guys were telling me I'm a pro, and I'm like, "But wow!" Like you know what I mean? So I said, "Okay, I'm gonna." And then the second half of that summer, I played with the national B team for Canada. So now I'm
Mhm.
playing against guys who played 4 years in university, NCAA, and I was still playing well against them too.
Mhm.
Not just well, one of the games I had like 38.
Wow,
So
that's amazing.
I started realizing I have something, and then that was it.
Yeah, I have some connections with Basketball Manitoba, and I know when Ontario played in Fredericton, you guys ended up winning the gold that summer, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
MVP and all that.
yeah. And I had a friend who unfortunately had to guard you, and I think you dunked 3 times on him. I won't say his name because he probably
Yeah.
wouldn't like it if I said it, but he's gonna laugh when he hears this.
Well,
But
I was very like I have friends. I joke around people, but when we step on the court, you pretty much, unless you're with me, you're against me.
yeah, it makes sense for sure. Yeah. Now, let's talk about scoring, discipline, and your early greatness. So, in high school, you reportedly averaged close to 50 points per game at Morningstar and Malton. Where did that fire come from?
All right, so I'll always blame Dwayne Hines. We were playing Arendelle High School in Mississauga, and it was like my second or third game. And he's like, Bobby, I know how good you are. Stop passing us the ball. And I'm like, you know what, man? I don't want you guys saying you don't get the ball. So just, he goes, no, no, but we want to win. So it went from 14 to 25 to 30 something to 40 something. And then it just, yeah, then sometimes I get a lot more. But it wasn't because I was hunting the scoring. My team wasn't that good. So I had to score a lot of points even be in the game
Hmm.
because I didn't go to a powerful high school at the time. So it's not like I
Right.
was hogging the ball. So when you see me playing for Team Ontario, I'm finishing games. I might not miss a shot. When I'm playing for Team Canada, I'm finishing game. The coach is asking me to shoot more. My NCAA teams, because in high school, it's just because I had to score all those points.
Right. That
Yeah,
makes sense. Yeah. So, you kind of do, depending on the environment you're in, that's how you're going to play. Right.
100%.
Okay. Now, what does discipline mean to you now versus when you were 16?
Well, when you're 16, you don't know anything, and you don't have any responsibility, right? But if you're not disciplined, you're gonna hurt a lot of people around you, and plus yourself, right? So you didn't care. I didn't care. But now it's like you have to be. And then especially if you're going to be a pro, you got to take care of your body. You have to watch who you talk to. You got to watch your surroundings. There's a whole bunch of things. You got to make sure your grades is good. You got to take care of everything. But when you're young,
Mhm.
you just, your mind is all over the place, and you could just be thinking about girls.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what
That's
I
right.
mean? But
Yeah.
but and that's where it comes in when I work with these kids. It's like I try to let them grow up fast, basketball
Mm,
wise. Like this is
right.
very serious. You know what I mean? This thing here can take care of you. your family could give you a free education, especially now with all this NIL and all this stuff like that, right?
Mhm. Yeah,
So I'm thankful I get to do what I'm doing now because anything I've done and I failed at it or won at it, I can add it to these young kids.
right. So those lessons have helped you, both good and bad. You can pass those on to hopefully help them not to repeat or, and then excel. Yeah. Why do young players misunderstand? What do they misunderstand the most about work ethic today?
Well, you go to somebody, they show you a move here and there, and you think you're a superstar. And it's not about a move, it's about IQ. So you got to have the IQ and you have to have the work ethic. And you don't just get a wicked handle by doing a couple of moves. You got to constantly make that ball become a part of you. You don't get a consistent jump shot by going in the gym for a half an hour and look at your clock. Oh, half an hour is done. You got to really stick with everything. And then you got to watch a lot of, and take a look at what you do wrong, what you do right. You got to 100% become a student of the game.
That makes sense. Now, let's talk about your college development and some highlights there. So, for junior college, you went to Spoon River College
Yeah,
and averaged about 29 points, 8 rebounds, and 6 assists a game. And then you moved on to play at Pan American University, averaging 17 points and 6 rebounds.
yeah.
Now, so college ball, then, it took you to these two different experiences. What did each chapter teach you?
When I was in junior college, my first year, I was being recruited by everybody pretty much in America except for Kentucky, Duke, and North Carolina. Going into my second year, I hurt my knee, and then most of those schools went away, because the explosiveness was gone. I hurt my
Right.
tendonitis. I end up transferring to a small school, Evansville. I basically quit basketball, came back home. My knee got better. Then I went to Texas. I only had a half a semester. But within my junior college year, my 2 years, I got National Junior College Player of the Year in America. I was a
Wow.
two-time All-American,
Hmm.
even with the bad knees. And I had NBA people talking to me. So, anyways, I ended up in Texas, a school. I only had a semester left, and they took a guy that only had a half a semester left. I went to I went to a school that was 2 and 28, and I only had half a semester. Somehow the schedule worked out where they only had 2 games before I joined, and then before you know it, we're the number one team in the conference. So I didn't get a chance to really get a good college experience because of my knees. At the end, I finished out. I even had San Antonio Spurs coming to all my games at the time, and then when that season was over, their whole coaching staff got fired. So even though I had half a semester, I was still, I played against Derek Fisher, who went to Arkansas Little Rock. There was a guy, Chris Robinson, that went to Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky beat Michigan. They came into our house. I had like 30 something, six dunks, threes. We beat them,
Hmm.
and they beat Michigan. So it's like, you know, if I was healthy, you never know. And that's what you talk about discipline, right? I didn't
Hmm.
take care of myself. But, if I had a good shot at college basketball, I think I easily would have been drafted in the NBA.
Hmm.
But it's just I was too spotty. I didn't take care of my grades in high school. I was injured in college, and then my last push in university, I did okay because even my coach, he ended up coaching at Texas Tech after Mark Adams. He goes, if you had one more year, you'd be an All American.
Hmm.
So I would, but I still had the experience, and then in my heart, I know what I did, and just now I know I'm going to try to go and play pro.
Right.
So
Okay.
I didn't want to cheat myself, so I went back to Texas. For a guy who had a bad injury, came almost quit basketball, and then go back, take a team that was 2 and 28 to at one time number one in the conference. That's not bad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's really good actually, and so like there was challenges there. Tendonitis is hard on basketball players. And like you said, if you're not, I call it prehab, prehabilitation, where you're doing strengthening for your knees and everything and all the knowledge
Your
we have
quads.
now.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right. So the thing is, when you were playing back in that time, people weren't aware or as educated as we are now in terms of those needs.
I'll tell you a story, and I don't want to ruin this for my junior
Oh,
college coach, but this is a
yeah.
true story.
Okay.
When I was finishing my first year in junior college, All American, all that, I went into my second year and my knee started bothering me a little bit. And I told him, I said, Coach, I think I'm just gonna sit this year out and then just go on to D1. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
The lowest schools that were recruiting me, like schools like Colorado, Kansas State, Baylor, Boston College, like just chasing after me. So I was like, well, just let me just fix my knees. I'm not gonna play this year. And he said to me, Bobby, what about us?
Hmm. Wow.
I mean, I don't care about reliving, but if I could relive it, I wouldn't have played.
Right. Yeah.
But that's a true story. Like, I thought about them and I thought about our team and then, whatever it is, but you got to think about yourself, and if I have an athlete that told me that, I would have told him, don't play.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just take
Yeah.
the offers that we have, rehab yourself and go play. Cause
Mm-hmm.
there's a bigger picture than junior college. No disrespect to anybody.
Right.
There's
Yeah.
no hatred there. I love BJ, my coach and stuff, but I 100% know that was a very bad decision. I should have took care of my body. I love my life, but
Mm-hmm.
now if I'm mentoring, like I have DJ Jackson, he's at Xavier in
Right.
Nova Scotia. He hit me the other day saying that his Achilles is bothering him. Should he take some games off? I said 100%,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
100%, because you hurt your Achilles, now you're gone for 2 years.
That's right. Yeah.
But I had to experience stuff so these young guys can do better than me.
Yeah. That makes perfect sense. It's yeah, it's frustrating when coaches they don't see the big picture, and so I like it connects here now, like is there a specific moment though playing in college, or junior college it like almost broke you? Like was there a
Broke
place
me.
where you yeah.
Transferred from junior college to Evansville first, and I'm there. I'm averaging 4.7 points a game. One day in practice, I'm killing everybody. Next day in practice, I'm in massive pain. Guys that can't play against me, they get playing time. I don't. We played against Southern Illinois, beginning of the game. I had 18 in the first half. The
Mhm.
second half, I didn't get to play. We won by one. The coach brings me into the meeting room by myself and goes, Bobby, I forgot you're on the bench. I'm like, whoa, that just
Mm.
hit my ego. Like, I'm that player now that the coach has said he forgot me on the bench. I dunked on somebody at 18. I didn't jump off my proper leg to dunk on the guy because my left leg is injured. That got me, and I said, the end of the year, I'm gonna quit basketball. And
Mm.
so yeah, I came back home, and then my leg got stronger, but that's what got me. I said, I can't do this. I'm playing against guys that I would just murder. And
Mhm.
some days I murdered him. Some days there was a guy named Scott Hafner. He played at Evansville. He played for Miami Heat. He came back in town. He's playing for Miami Heat. He's all swagged out. I think he got a Porsche. And he goes, hey, Bobby, let's play one on one. But it was one of the days
Mhm.
I was healthy.
Right.
I killed him. You know what I mean? But with tendonitis, you have days good and bad. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So that was very frustrating. So I was like, you know what? Instead of going through all this, let me just stop playing. And that was a big moment. Then when I came back home, I just started rehabbing and swimming and riding my bike, and actually my legs got stronger.
Mm.
So stronger than high school, everything. You just got stronger. Then I went to Texas Pan Am.
Okay. Well, now, so what are some of the most valuable lessons you learned playing in the States? Like the ones that are really valuable?
Valuable lesson is everyone's trying to get at you. Like there's no nice things out here. Like everyone on my teams think they're just as good as me or better than me, and it's a fight every day in practice, and it's a fight every time you play somebody. NCAA is not a joke. You know, everyone's trying to make the NBA. Everybody on your team is trying to make the NBA. Everybody you're playing against is trying to make the NBA. Everyone's really good. Most of the guys that is on your team average 50 or 40 in their high school teams.
Mhm.
Everyone can jump and dunk. You know what I
Right.
mean? So it's a very high level. You know what I mean? So it's just, I remember my senior year in university, like all the guys were talking about NBA. And we're just a smaller school at NCAA. I mean, all the guys, point guards talking about it. I had a guy, he led the nation in scoring the year before. I think he beat out J.R. Ryder or something like that. But they were 2-28 when he led the nation in scoring. So he like everybody I was around was thinking they're going to NBA. You know,
Hmm.
so it's the level is high. You know, everybody there's a two guard that plays maybe CIS back in the day. He'll dominate the whole CIS if he has a good size. You know what I mean? But
Hmm.
being 6'4" or 6'5" is just a regular size for NCAA. It's a different level.
Right. So that's a valuable lesson. Everybody's on the hunt. Everybody's hungry. Yeah, that makes sense. But let's move to this next area. Let's talk about Team Canada, the pride, the pressure, and the purpose that you felt during this time. What did it feel like the moment you learned you made Team Canada?
When I made Team Canada, my adrenaline was so high because I knew I'd made Team Canada. You know, because just like Team Ontario, I went in there like, is there really 12 people in this country better than me? You know, because basketball wasn't that hot. I mean, it was hot, but it wasn't like that. There was no NBA teams here. So I felt like I don't think anybody, there's no way there's 12 guys better than me. And that was I just took that the whole time I played.
Hmm.
So when I made it, I wasn't like jumping all over the place. I expected to make it, you know? And if
Right.
they and I went in the tryout like cut me. I dare you to cut me, like I'm gonna do all this stuff in this tryout, cut me. So it sounds cocky, but that was my attitude, like I'm gonna show you guys
Mhm.
some stuff. And you cut me, you cut me. That means I wasn't good enough. But I'm gonna dunk on this guy. I'm gonna shoot this three. I'm gonna hit this mid range. I'm gonna get somebody open. I'm gonna whatever, cut me. So unless I was injured, I wouldn't get cut.
Tell me about the feeling of putting on that jersey for the first time.
To think about this, man, I was in grade 9 and I had this crazy dream that I was playing for Team Canada, right? And by the end of grade 11, I was with the B team, and I'm like, whoa. And I went back to high school with an Ontario team tracksuit and a Team Canada tracksuit, same summer. And I turned into this guy, Bobby Allen. And so it was amazing. But then, because you're living it, I'm thinking about the NBA now. So I'm actually not thinking about Team Canada because you're kind of knocking stuff down and just you
Mhm.
can't even worry about that now. You're trying to knock down something else.
Right.
So it
Yeah.
wasn't like I was so happy. I was just knocking stuff down.
Mm. Like, what's next, right?
Yeah, what's next? And it wasn't like I'm big headed in my mind. I'm just trying to knock stuff down.
Mhm.
And then now
Yeah.
I have kids and I'm older. Man, I can't believe we didn't score Team Canada. Like, but at the time, you're just trying to knock stuff down.
Right, yeah. Now, what was the culture of Team Canada basketball like during your era?
It was tough. At the time, I think there was call of racism. There was call of a whole bunch of things because at the time there was like our coach UVic,
Mm. Yeah.
and I think he had a bunch of UVic guys on the team as well. And it's just whatever. So that
Mhm.
wasn't that cool. There was times I felt like it wasn't fair. You know what I mean? I'd made the team and I'm sitting on the bench, but in practice I'm killing everyone. That was earlier on when I was in high school. I got coached by one summer Olenek, then the rest was Coach Shields.
Mm.
Then
Okay.
when I went back to Team Canada later on now with Nash, that was Konchowski. And he just came and he was like, look, you can play, you can play. And I was like, for real? Yeah. And that was it. You know what I mean? But before it wasn't fair. I ain't calling anything crazy, but there was a lot of different situations. Maybe it was preference and the coach was used to playing guys that he's used to. But I mean, they weren't cutting me, but me killing people in practice and not getting to play in the game is crazy. You know what
Mm.
I mean? So that was very hard for me too. But
Mhm.
at the end of the time though, when you're sitting there reflecting, like I said now, it's like, wow, I played for Team Canada for a good time. I was around some really good players, and I never, like when you sit back, you're like, you know what, it was all right. And then sometimes you got to go through some hard times for the younger guys to get better times.
Mhm.
So there's no bitterness, but I experienced it. It was crazy because, like, who JD Jackson is?
Yeah. I know exactly who he is.
Right. So JD and all those guys like that, they can't tell you they bust my ass. As a matter of fact, like their BC was there when we were there for Team Ontario, where I got MVP of the whole tournament. Then we go to the national team, and I'm sitting on the bench.
Hmm.
That doesn't make any sense, right? So, and he's playing CIS. I mean, come on, man. So, but at the end of the day, it's an experience.
Right.
It's a very good experience. I get to tell people I didn't just take that left and sit in a room and say racism or whatever it was. I still end up going back to that team, playing and killing. And
Mm-hmm.
I got to show the world too.
That's right.
It wasn't a
Yeah.
secret. So, I mean, I didn't give up on that. And they
Mm-hmm.
know. And JD knows. And all those guys knew. So, I mean, life is not easy, man. You gotta just keep going.
Right. So your experience with Team Canada, who are the leaders? Who are the best leaders that you came across?
The
Both vocal and quiet. Yeah.
leaders, right as I went to Team Canada, Dwight Walton came to me and was just kind of mentoring me. I think he saw in me, and I think, on my social media, he'll tell people saying that I'm the best scorer he's seen in Canada and all this stuff like that. But he saw me from 17, and he'd
Mm-hmm.
come get me and bring me to lunch, and just then we played on the same team sometimes, and he'd be pushing me like where some people are competing with you, even though they're on the same team.
Mm-hmm.
Dwight Walton was a leader like that for me. He was a mentor for me. And then as far as team wise and playing ball, Nash, he works. So before practice, you see him working. After practice, you see him working on the
Mm-hmm.
team. He's trying to get everybody involved. He's a very good guy, So, the two guys I liked was like I love playing with Nash because, he did get me the ball when I needed it. And then Dwight Walton was just like a guy who he worked hard, good, very good player, but he cared about Bobby Allen. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I don't know why, but he did, and he still does. We still talk all the time.
That's fantastic. Yeah. So one vocal and one more quiet, but still, strong leadership. Yeah.
Yes.
Now, what style of basketball defined Team Canada at that time?
Everything started. It was just like you moving the ball, and I think it was more you running plays kind of thing. And then
Mm-hmm.
when I got there, when 94 on, I think he's just like, let's go. I remember one time Coach Konchowski yelled to me when I was on the floor, like, Bobby. And I was like, what's up, coach? Do your thing. I'm like, what? Like, so so it's just like, I was hot, so he's like, don't pass it. Like, so it went from like a methodical kind of thing to just
Yeah.
let's move the ball, man. Let's get to the open player. Let's run.
Right.
It was, so that's what after when I started playing, where before I don't know. You know what I mean? I was like,
Yeah.
man, this is crazy. They were telling stuff like one of the best compliments I ever got out of Team Canada was Coach Konchowski came in a hotel room. We were having a meeting, and he goes, "We got to pass the ball 5 times before we get a shot, except for Bobby and Steve." That's one of the best compliments I ever got in my life.
Yeah, no doubt. That's too funny. Yeah, that's interesting. Well, I'm going to be interviewing Augie Jones, and he talked very highly of Coach Konchalski and the fact that he liked the style of play. And let's face it, the reality is X's and O's basketball has its place, but the reality is when you get to that level, everybody knows how to play, you know?
100%.
And so it's just kind of getting a feel of how to play with each other at different times. That's all, you know?
Yeah, like you, I teach now. You have to run the plays and how to slip screens and do all these things. But then you also need bucket getters sometimes, just to get your basket. You can't just run plays when, especially if you have a guy that can't guard you,
Mm-hmm.
and you're still
Yeah.
running a play and the guy can't guard you. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely right. Yeah. What did the brotherhood look like on that national team or the
On a
national teams?
national team,
Yeah.
the problem with the national team when I was there was because there was so much stuff earlier on, when there was more black guys on our team, it was like there was a lot
Mm-hmm.
of jealousy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's hard to say brotherhood because everybody wanted to be the top dog, right? And it's hard to bring negative stuff, and I don't want to bring that, but there wasn't that much brotherhood because it's like everybody wanted to be the top dog.
Right.
You know what I
Okay.
mean? And it's like, for me, my comments was when we win, everybody wins.
Right.
But it wasn't too much. It was. I'm not sure what it is now because they have a whole bunch of agents and stuff like that too to deal with, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Right.
and in the NBA right now, each player on Team Canada has an agent. But at our time, each player was trying to get a different contract overseas.
Right.
So
Oh.
the better you play, the more money you probably get in a contract. So I wish I could tell you the greatest story of how everybody loved each other,
Yeah.
but I don't think it was like that. I think it was just everybody trying to win, but most guys are trying to get the numbers
That's the reality sometimes, sad but true. But we all know that the best teams are the ones that do play for
that
each
work
other.
together.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%. That's what Nashville's trying to do. But you know, it's hard when he's getting me the ball, we're winning, and other guys want to be the guys that their names are being called. But I would pass the ball to everybody. But when the game's over, maybe I'm the leading scorer in the game. But people felt probably a way about that.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't really see too much. I had close friends, close guys on the national team, but in total there was always a divide of, maybe three guys go over there, four guys go over there. So it was no beautiful story. I think sports,
Right.
people act a certain way, but there's always something weird.
Mm-hmm.
I
Right.
wish I could tell you everyone loved each other, but if you
Right.
really check in sports, I don't know. You hear the
Have,
Michael Jordan thing. A lot of guys are talking crap about Michael Jordan. He got
mm-hmm.
them 6 championships.
I know. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not saying I'm Michael. I'm just saying, like you figure they should be happy to play with him. But guys,
Yeah.
they tell you stories. I'm like, what? That's the greatest player in basketball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, on teams, there's always going to be something.
Right.
But playing for Team Canada is 1000% a big deal for me,
Well, that's
especially
good.
now because I'm older.
Right. And so if you could relive one Team Canada moment, which would it be?
If I could relive it, when we were in Argentina, we got to the semifinals. Agent had called me the night before that and said, "Hey, you're playing really well, one of the best players in the tournament. We would love for you to play in Argentina next year for your pro season." And it was going to be my first pro season. Guys are complaining about getting the ball and all this stuff like that. And I'm like, well, agents are already calling me. The game before I had 20 something, whatever. And I just kind of, okay, well, you guys are complaining about getting the ball. All right, I'm going to start swinging it a little bit more. And we lost the next 2 games. And each game, I think I had 10 or 12. But I wasn't pushing because I knew I already going to get a contract. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
I felt I sold out. So if I can get that back, I'd be hunting the same way I was hunting all the way to the semifinals.
Right.
You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? But I was like,
Yeah.
you know what? Since you guys are complaining about getting the ball, I'll just move the ball. Since you guys are complaining, and if I can get that back, I'm pushing the same way I pushed to get to the semifinals.
Mm.
But I put my foot off the gas for the last 2 games.
Okay. And you wish you could get that back and do it
100%.
differently. Yeah.
100%.
Okay. Now, in terms of, you see Canada now producing like global stars today. Do you feel pride in helping build that foundation?
Man, yeah. I watch these guys and I'm so proud. I remember meeting Jamal Murray when he was at the Athletes Institute, and he was just like wow. He's like, Bobby Allen. I'm thinking, yo, man, like, no, you're Jamal Murray, you know what I mean? So I just watching and I'm just seeing the excitement in this kid, and I'm like, this is nuts. And this is before he went to Kentucky. You know what I mean? I'm saying, yo, this guy is gonna be special. And
Mm-hmm.
so I saw Dylan Brooks. I'm like, yo, this guy's a monster,
Right.
right? He just one of those guys. And I just started watching all the talent. I'm saying, this is nuts.
Yeah.
So the level is ridiculous now. It looks like people get along. I had the honor to be with RJ since he was younger. So, you
Right.
know, being around these kids is crazy. And then I saw RJ for the Global Jam here in Toronto, and I see him all the time, anyways. But he's still the same humble kid off the court.
That's R.J. Barrett, right? Rowan's
Yes,
son? Yeah.
yes,
Okay.
RJ. Yeah, because I played with Ron, right? So, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like these guys now, and then they have the technology to work,
Mm-hmm.
and then they say iron sharpens iron, so
Yes.
they're around all these players from when they're young. RJ gets to play against his dad when his dad was a very high level player. His godfather is Steve Nash. They get to go in the gym too.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So all these guys, it's like they're around a lot of talent. And then I was helping train RJ.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so iron sharpens iron, man. So I love watching all these guys. I love seeing it. There's never been a day that I felt jealous. Not one day.
I love that. Iron sharpens iron. I love that. Now, what do you want young Canadian hoopers to understand about wearing the maple leaf?
It's a responsibility. You know, people look at us like we're living igloos still. You know what I'm saying? It's like we don't live in igloos, man. Come to Toronto. I don't know what Winnipeg is like, but come to Toronto. The city's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's beautiful. You know what I mean? And there's so much diversity here. Different people, different cultures. You know, any kind of food you want, you got it. You know, any kind of person. I have friends from every nation, right? So I want us to go and beat some people and let them know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And on the team, you don't just have black guys. You have a mix of everything.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, so we gotta. I want people to know that there are a lot of good basketball players in this country, and it's from
Mm-hmm.
everywhere,
Right.
from everywhere. Like I was shocked. You were talking about Joey Vickery the other day. I was shocked how that little guy shot the ball. You know what I mean? Shocked. I was like, wow. You know, so we have talent. We've always had talent, but now it's like more, and these guys are confident.
Right. Yeah.
They're not cocky. They're confident.
Yeah. They got that swagger, eh? They got that swagger. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for the insight with the national team. It was
Yes.
very insightful of the experience. So I wanted to move to the next stage beyond college, university, and national team was your overseas pro career. You had a professional career where you
Yep.
played overseas in multiple countries, including the Philippines. Isn't it important? Lebanon, Indonesia, Spain, and Cyprus. What surprised you the most about international basketball?
I didn't really get surprised because once again, I feel I sound really crazy, but I had this mentality like I'm an NBA player playing overseas, and whatever they pay me to go do, I just go deal with it. So nothing really
Mhm.
surprised me. Like, but then you actually yeah, some of the people over there are way better than you thought. So you thought you're just gonna go to wherever and just kill everybody and go, oh, wait a second, this guy's good. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of talent all over the world. But I knew that from playing with Team Canada too. But when even, in Lebanon, I had Fadi Khatib and I had Eli McShantov. Like, wait a second, you guys could play. You know, if they came over here, they'd be pretty good too. You know what I mean? Fadi
Mhm.
ended up playing against Denham Brown and all those guys for Lebanon and Lebanon and beat Canada.
Oh wow.
And they're
Lebanon.
on my club team. And he ended
Wow.
up being, they beat France. Fadi beat France.
Jeez, that's amazing.
So
Little Lebanon.
yeah, and then I had this one guy on my Philippine team, June Limput. I'm gonna age myself. He's 6'7" guard and he traveled with Penny Hardaway for
Wow.
Nike.
That's amazing.
There's talent out here. Like, it's not just Brampton and Winnipeg, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And people always think it's US. No, there's some really skilled players. I remember going to Tunisia and there was this one guy, I'm like, oh my gosh, this guard was nice. Could do everything. So there's talent the one thing that surprised me is talent all over the world.
People love the game everywhere.
Yes.
So now, what was your toughest moment overseas, and how did you push through it?
Tough for me is you just got to get used to knowing that you're a hired gun. So it wasn't the basketball part. You're just, you're in your hotel room or in your house and you're paid to play basketball. You go to practice, you go to your games. You get lucky if you have teammates that, will come and bring you out or do certain things. But lots of times you get to realize you're a hired gun.
Hmm.
You're there to
Yeah,
win
it can be
games.
lonely. You can
Yes.
be lonely. Yeah.
Yes, and there it is. So, you know what I mean? So it wasn't the basketball part of it. Yeah, it was like going to a country by yourself and you're there for business. And if you don't win, the secret is you sign a contract for 8 months, but the minute you have bad practice or a bad game, you will get sent home.
Yeah. So there's a lot of pressure too.
So if you can play, it's not really pressure, but I've seen a lot of people getting sent home.
Right.
So
Okay. So what's one overseas memory that still lives in your spirit?
One overseas memory that sits in my spirit. Nothing really. I just, like I said, I didn't take advantage. I just played. I just played, and
Mhm,
I just knew that I had to play. I didn't really like leaving here. And once again, if I could do it again, I'd do the same thing. I would have just
mhm,
pushed harder for the NBA. But I got to travel. I got to see the world. But it wasn't a thing where I thought, oh, I'm playing overseas. I'm amazing. It was just like, it sounds
mhm.
really cocky,
Well,
but that's what was my mindset.
yeah, but in terms you mentioned it just now about culture, and going overseas and seeing different places. How did that impact your spirit as a person, not as a basketball player?
Uh, it widens you because now you
Okay.
come back and you've seen everything. You've seen a lot more things than just Brampton and Malton, and you're like, wow, this is amazing. I've been in stores where someone's speaking Arabic, and I might say, hey, blah blah blah. You know what I mean? Or someone speaking Tagalog, and I'll be like, hey, or someone speaking Spanish, and they're like, wait, what? And then we'll spark a conversation, and I'll tell them, yes, I played for Hackney in Lebanon. I played for Santa Lucia and whoever, and they'll be like, what?
Mhm,
Yeah, so it kind of it broadens your horizons. It's not just a small
mhm.
place.
Right. That not everybody gets that opportunity, so it's,
Yeah, so you don't
great.
appreciate it until it's gone though.
For sure. Now, which country changed you the most and how?
I say Philippines.
How so?
I fell in love with the food there, and everyone thinks all Filipino people are also short. It's not. There's a lot of tall guys there and stuff, and it's a really
Mhm,
nice place. It's
mhm.
a really nice
You
place.
like
So it was one of them places where I could easily bring my family back.
Right, so you like your pancit and your caldereta?
I like a lot of stuff, but I'm just saying, like, I was really stubborn. I just eat certain food because they're big on the pork and stuff. But at the same time, I like traveling around and seeing different things. And the fans are nuts. The fans they loved at the time when I was there. They loved their basketball, and I got to see some really good players. Because do you remember Rodney Monroe?
Yes, I do,
He
yes.
went to NC State. He was the first import I played against, or no,
Really?
or second game, yeah, because he was all ACC, led NC.
Mhm,
He led the ACC in scoring.
mhm.
Drafted by I think it was Atlanta Hawks. I played against Stephen Smith. My first game, he went to Arizona State. He got caught in the point shaving stuff.
Oh,
We're
okay.
friends right now to this day. And then next game was Rodney Monroe, where he did the fire and ice thing for NC State. You know
Right.
what I mean? Jim Valvano and all that stuff. Remember all that? I played against him and I was like, whoa. Because we get that stuff on CBS, right?
Mhm.
And we beat them. I played really good. I caught an alley oop on him.
Mm.
And after the game, I went to shake his hand to say, hey, you're like, I saw you on TV. He didn't even shake my hand because we just beat them and I just killed him. But that was a big moment because, I've been watching this guy on TV. He was a high school All American
Right,
and then a NCAA All American. And here I am beating them. So, you know what I mean? And then we're friends too. I also talk to these guys as well because I also
yeah.
place my kids, and Rodney has a prep school in North Carolina.
Nice. Oh, that's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Those are good connections, and those are
100%. But you
lifelong.
gotta make sure you earn people's respect.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like you did.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
what did traveling the world teach you about people and humanity? Not
Well,
basketball players necessarily.
everyone's the same, man. Everyone's the same. Just from different places, and everyone's the same. There's good people and there's bad people. So I got to see a lot of really good people and whatever. So humanity, all the players I have, they have their families. They're all loving. It just happens that the scary part is different. Like let's say Lebanon, it's scary because of all the things that's going on over there where they're fighting and stuff.
Right.
But once again, they're very good people. So
Mhm.
I got to make some really good friends. Everyone's all the same, man. There's people in Malton or Brampton, just like people in whatever countries. It's all the same.
Right.
So I take
That's
people.
good.
If you're a good person, you're a good person. You're a bad person, like that. Whereas I've had a lot of friends I've had from those places. They're still my friends. I still reach out to them. We still talk like how we're talking right now on
Mm,
Facebook or Instagram, whatever like that. Crack some jokes every once in a while.
that's good. Now, what was the most humbling moment you experienced overseas?
Humbling. I mean, not too much. I just kind of I knew I had to play. I knew I was a hired gun. So I've been a humble person my whole life, regardless of basketball. I'm humbled that I was opportunity to play basketball. I'm humbled that I'm healthy to play basketball. So it wasn't like playing over there had to humble me
Hmm.
because I get to play basketball as a job.
Hmm.
So it didn't have to humble me. I was cool, and whatever was dealt with me, I dealt with it. So that was pretty cool.
Well, that's healthy. That's a good way to approach it. And having that humility, it's not always found everywhere, and quite often, especially with athletes.
Yeah. Now, well, I didn't think of myself like an athlete. Like I met so many people that they met me, they judge me, then they find out I can really play, and then they treat me better.
Hmm. Yeah,
You understand what I
interesting.
mean?
I know what
Yeah.
you mean. Yeah,
Yeah.
respect. Yeah, it's all
Yeah.
about respect, right? So I want to talk and maybe move on to now another area for you, your identity beyond basketball
Yeah.
after you're done, when the ball stopped bouncing professionally. And, who were you in that moment when,
When I
you
was
realized,
when I stopped playing basketball, I wanted to go and never touch a basketball again because this Bobby Allen thing, and I just was like, man, I just want to be a regular dude, man. Just stop asking me about basketball, and just be a regular dude. And so I stayed away from it for a while, and I'm me. I know who I am. I'm an honest person. I'm a loyal person. So I always knew who I was. So I don't need basketball to define me. Anybody who knows me that's close to me knows Bobby's solid. Like he tells the truth. We're tourists. So,
mhm,
I'm a human being first. I don't think I'll forget I'm a basketball or I'm a basketball player until someone says, Bobby Allen? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, so I don't live like that. I
right.
don't live like that. I live like I'm a person first. I'm chilling. But if we go play ball, I'm competitive.
Hmm.
So basketball doesn't really define me like that.
Okay. Now, so when did coaching become something more profound, like a calling to serve?
Um, Years and years, people will come to me and say, "Why aren't you coaching?" Now, like I don't like coaching. I feel like coaching is babysitting sometimes, and I don't want to babysit anybody. I'm saying, why don't you practice? If you practice, you'll get better. Why should I beg you to practice? You can't dribble the ball properly. Get in the gym and work on it. You can't shoot it properly. Get in the gym and shoot. Like, why do I have to beg you? So I didn't want to beg people to do it. And then I decided I don't want to coach teams. Let me start teaching people how to play properly, be able to use your left as good as your right, have a mid range, have a three, see the floor, keep your head up. And I said, I'm gonna bring that to my situation. Teach people how to play basketball properly. No positions. If you're 6'6", 6'7", 6'8", we're all guards in here. We all can shoot. We all can do everything. And then I just started my academy just like that. And 15 years later,
Wow.
15 years later, a bunch of kids that went off to NCAA. I got guys overseas. I got the guys like RJ and Josh Primo who got drafted by the Spurs, and Kyle Alexander that went to Miami Heat and now he's in Turkey playing. I got a kid that went to Baylor. I got a kid that went to Oregon. I got a kid that went Middle Tennessee. I had a bunch of kids, and then guys playing overseas in Spain and Germany, and yeah. So 15
So
years
you,
later,
yeah, so you preferred not necessarily coaching a team, but
just teach them how to
focusing
play
on teaching
properly.
skills
Yes,
and
teaching them
how
how
to
to
be a
play the
player.
game properly.
And then, of course, the gifts that you had in terms of the experience,
Yes.
related to, like, the whole path that they would end up going through, right?
Yeah. So lots of times when people they're going through stuff, all they gotta do is call me or hit me on my Instagram or my Facebook, and we'll have a conversation. This is happening. And I say, okay, well, this is what happened to me. Maybe you can do this and that. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And then they don't call me back because it probably worked. So I'm constantly having conversations with these guys. And like I said, up to yesterday, DJ hit me about his Achilles bothering him. I said, don't play anymore. Just play when you feel better.
That
And
makes
DJ was
sense.
the leading scorer in CIS last year.
Hmm. Wow. That's, well, yeah, you gotta take care of yourself, and, it's just so important for young people, to be able to have, people that they can connect with at that level, because quite often if they go it alone, they're not gonna do well. And so doing that for 15 years, has served your community well. And from what you're explaining, the fact that developing so many NCAA caliber and NBA players, That's a testimony to your ability as a coach, and a lot goes into that. Now, what part of your competitive fire still lives in you today?
I
Still there?
mean, yeah, I mean, you want to do good. You want to be a good husband. You want to be a good father. You want to be a good mentor. You want to, like I go to the gym. I don't want to just sit there and tell people what to do. I lead by example. Every once in a while, I'll still, okay, you guys think I can't play anymore? All right, take a look at this. You know what I'm saying? So you don't think I can do so I lead by example, then yeah, I'm competitive. I hate losing. If your kids are not getting better, it bothers me. I don't I feel awkward collecting money and not getting results. It just bothers me.
Mhm.
And when the clients see this, they'll be like, yeah, it bothers Bobby. I don't like I'm here to get you better. We're not friends, man. It's lucky that we get along, but I'm here to get your kid better.
Well, let's look at that in terms of, the coaching the youth and the purpose that you bring to that. I've seen your posts on Facebook about the nights where you're coaching and you've got kids like every size and shape
Yeah,
and color,
yeah.
that are out there. And
Yeah, look.
what's the first thing you notice when a young athlete walks into your gym?
I look in his or her eyes. I look in their eyes because the parents could be telling me blah 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 how the kid is gonna be so great and everything. And I look at the kid's eyes, and the kid either has the same eyes as me, and they're looking at me like, "Coach, I need that ball. Let's go," or I'm just trying to please my dad. There's two different eyes.
Yeah, yeah.
And so once I see in your eyes, I know what you got. So I always look and I talk to the parents all the time. I say, I see it. I look in their eyes.
Hmm. Yeah, you got to see the
So
killer.
yeah, the eyes tells everything.
Now, what traits tells you a kid has a real chance to make it, though?
The work ethic. Everything we do, guys are going all out. We're doing mid-range jump shots, all getting up on your shot. We're doing just simple sprints, sprinting like they're trying to they're running like I'm like, whoa, you know what I mean? And every time
Mm.
I see them, they're getting better because they're going all out on everything.
So 100% all the
I
time.
seen it. I seen it, and I'm like, yo, there's no other way you're gonna make it because you're working so hard.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? So that's what in the 15 years, all the kids that really work hard, they made it. It's like they could not fail because they worked so hard.
Right. That's it. Well, that's the secret to success. You got to work hard.
Yeah.
Um, Now, how do you coach confidence without feeding ego?
Well, to me, I just told them if you put the work in, the confidence will come, and you don't have to be cocky person. Just put the work in, and you'll see the results. Like cockiness is I'm not a fan of players that are cocky, but you need to be confident.
Mhm.
I need to look beside me and know that my teammates are confident because I'm about to pass you the ball and I need you to hit that shot. We're about to
Right.
go back on defense and we have to lock these guys down. We got to get a stop. Now everybody lock in. So I don't need you to be cocky. I need you to be confident, but it comes with the work you put in on the track, in the weight room, on the floor. It's just when you're working out, you get your confidence from the work you put in.
Right. Makes perfect sense. Now, what's the most brutal truth you teach young players?
I have a kid that plays at TMU and I post him a lot. Kevin
Mhm.
Toth. He's a 6'5" point guard, NCAA, overseas NBA type point guard. You'll see him because he's probably gonna come play against Winnipeg. He's at
Okay.
TMU right now. He was 10 years old, and I said, Kevin, I'm gonna tell you how my life goes. No one loves you unless you're playing good. That's it. I told that to a 10-year-old. So that's the way the life works, and he's taking it and he's running with it. No
Wow.
one wants to hear any excuses of you're sick and you have a flu and your leg hurts. Win the game, man.
Mhm.
That's your reality. If you're a gladiator, that's how it goes.
That's right.
No one's gonna feel sorry for you. Because if I know that you're sick, I'm busting your ass. That's how it goes. So that's the truth
Mhm.
about stuff. It's like, yo, you're trying to win. That's it.
So now, let's talk about transformation then. There's a transformation story for for one of the athletes in your program that you saw the greatest transformation that kind of surprised you.
I had this one kid. He started with me like 2 years ago, Evan Murray, and he came in as a hockey player. And I started him just working and working and working, and now he looks like a basketball player. 2 years ago, he came in as a hockey player, and he's just listening and he's soaking up as a sponge. And I'm so happy for him because he has a chance at it. I think he's like 15 or 16 now. He might have a chance at this, but he just started 2 years ago from hockey.
Wow.
But he
So
worked
you've
so
seen that
hard.
much growth. That
Oh,
much
it's
growth in short.
ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
Interesting. So how do you coach the whole person, not just the athlete?
Well, I'll go in the gym and I have a personal relationship with every kid in there. So I'll talk to you, I'll sit with you before the workout, I'll sit with you after the workout. I'll call your parents and explain to them what we're doing and why I'm doing it, why I said it. So every single kid, it could be 1 year I have 100 kids, 1 year I have 10 kids, but each kid I deal with personally.
Mm.
Like today I had a kid, Christian, and Christian's a really good player, but sometimes he comes and gives me 15% of what he can be. So we walked in the gym. I'm tying my laces. I'm putting on my shirt and all this stuff. I said, Christian, can you just bust everyone's ass today? Can you just outwork everybody today?
Right.
He did it. And everybody's like, wow, Christian. I said, you got to learn to do that every day. That was my workout today with Christian. Right as I
Mm.
walked in the door, I said, bust everyone's ass today. And then another kid, CJ, I said, CJ, you're a very good player, but you don't know how to control the floor. He wants to make a fantastic play every time down, and you can't. You got to pace yourself and know when to get your teammates open and when to take your shots. And it got to a point where one time he just went so fast and fell on the floor because he's trying to do 50 moves in one time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just told him if he paces himself, he has a chance to play NCAA as well.
Wow.
So just
Hmm.
calm down every time down the floor. He doesn't have to be spectacular, but just, don't turn that ball over and don't take bad shots and make your teammates touch that ball.
Makes sense. So now, what message do you give to parents as often as you do to players?
Make sure they love it more than you. That's number one. Because, I don't want you guys pushing the kid and he doesn't want to be pushed. But just, let them go to the gym by themselves sometimes too. They don't always have to be on their team practice or go to their trainer all the time. Like they gotta find a love of it where they can just pick up a ball and go work on their game themselves too.
Hmm.
So I'm like, if you always gotta drive your kid everywhere, your kid might not like basketball.
Yeah. So I'm just thinking about probably we have similar experiences growing up. Is that you found any place to play,
Oh,
anytime,
hell,
anywhere, right?
yes, 1000%. I couldn't get enough of it. You could leave me at a rim for hours and hours and hours. I'd still be there by myself.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why you got good, right? Now, what's the difference between wanting it and doing what's required?
Oh, that's hilarious. It's true. When I go in the gym one day, there's 12 kids in the gym, and I'll say, "Who wants to play in the NBA?" Everybody puts their hand up. But when we're doing the workout, guys, run down the floor and come back. Someone walking, someone like it's the only like so you can say you want it, but you're not willing to work to get it.
Right.
Oh, so
Yeah.
that's the difference. Anybody can say they want to play NCAA. Are you willing to not go to parties and get up at 6 o'clock and 5 o'clock in the morning to go for a run before school starts? Are you willing to go and shoot for an hour and then you go to school that day? You know what I mean? Like some people are
Uh-huh.
not willing to sacrifice, but you have to.
Yeah. That's what it is.
You have to.
So yeah, you definitely do, and I think that sometimes in this culture that we have nowadays, it's like everything's on Instagram. Everybody has a reel,
Yes.
but it's all style and really no substance,
I
you
love
know.
that. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, yeah.
For me, I don't know if I'd be on Instagram if I was a player because I just want to kill people, man. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to be everyone's friend. I don't want to be popular. I was just trying to be out there to play against people, man. And then you test yourself about like I want to see who's the best, and if the best player beats me, that's good. And then next time the best player sees me, there'll be a different story. So, it's not about style. You're definitely right. It's about substance. So I don't care. I don't want to be popular. I was actually told to do this because of my business, because I was never an Instagram, Facebook person.
Hmm.
But because I have a business, it's like, okay, I'll pop this out there,
Right. Yeah.
but as a player, nah, you're gonna have to come see me or I'll come see you, you know?
So you mentioned DJ Jackson, you mentioned
Yeah,
Kyle Alexander, Josh Primo, RJ
yeah,
Barrett.
yeah,
Now, Iseline Alexander. Tell me
yep.
a bit about Iseline
She
Alexander.
was with me since 9, and she ended up at Michigan State. She's finishing up
Wow.
at Michigan State, and she also played for a little bit with the junior national team for Canada and all that. So I had all
Wow.
these girls. It's crazy.
So boys and girls, which
Yeah.
is
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
that's fantastic.
Yep. So
So
it's,
now
it's it's been like that.
so let's talk about faith, character, and grounding. Where does faith fit in your journey and identity?
Well, my wife, she's really grounded into that way more than me. But from day one, I've always been a praying person. Sometimes I can't believe God gave me the ability to do the things that I got to do. And it's not just basketball because I got a chance to reach people's lives, you know? Like I told you, I just came back I did my gym tonight, then I went and we did an appearance to talk to a team and they're talking and I think the area is gang infested.
Hmm.
And I get a chance to tell them like this, you don't have to do that. I lived in these type of places and I'm not in there. So, you got guys like me and I said, yo, here's my number. You can hit me anytime you want. So I think God gave me a chance to show people I can play sports, but then I also get a chance to change people's lives as well.
Now, how do you stay spiritually grounded while leading others?
I think that's easy. I mean, I believe in all the things that has been given to me as a gift, and I'm blessed to have it. So I don't really take it for granted and I stay grounded. Like I don't get a big head and I tell people to stay grounded as well. You
Hmm.
know, I thank my wife for that because she's really, somebody that I'm lucky to have and, we're really into it and my kids are real grounded kids. So that stuff keeps you humble because you know that it's a blessing what you have.
No, how do you teach humility in a world driven by highlights and attention?
Well, I just, all I can do is just go by example. You know, just live the way I live. I was at the YMCA a while back, and this guy comes up to me and goes, "Hey man, I heard about you, man. You come in here, you work out, you go swimming, and you leave. If I was you, I'd be all." And I was thinking, if you were me, what do you mean? Well, you're this big time basketball player. I said, I'm not a basketball player anymore. And even when I was a basketball player, I never had that personality of wanting to be the loudest in the room. I pay my membership. I just want to come here, work out, swim, and go home. So
Mhm.
you have to be humble, man. What do they say, the famous saying? Those that humble themselves will be exalted, and those who
Right.
exalt themselves will be humbled.
Hmm. Yeah. I like that. Yeah. I don't think I've ever heard that.
You're
Yeah, I'll
welcome.
have to. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Now, how do you help young athletes balance ego and excellence?
Well, first of all, I just keep telling them like everything's like you're building. And once you knock down something, like I told you earlier on, go after something else instead of settling and saying you made it to prep school. Now head for the NCAA, and if you make it to NCAA, now head for the NBA. If you make it to NBA, now you're the 12th man on the bench. Then you make it to the eighth man on the bench, and then you become a star. Like you're always pushing.
Hmm.
That keeps you,
Right.
you're always hunting. Don't settle.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah. You got to get that hunt on.
Yes.
So, what does integrity mean in basketball and life today?
Yeah, like I said, because I'm a tourist, I'm going to tell you the truth. You know what I'm saying? I've
Yep.
told many a customers, um, I think you should take your kid out because you're just wasting your money. He or she doesn't like basketball, so I think you should take him out. And they'd be like, no, no, he really does. I'm thinking, No, he doesn't. You want him to or her to, but they don't. So I
Hmm.
easily could be taking their money, right? But I
Right.
can't. And then in
Hmm.
basketball wise, I just try to play fair, man. I play as hard as I can. I've never tried to hurt anybody. And if I lose, I lose. And if I lose to you, I'm gonna try to figure out how to beat you. So
Hmm.
there's no tripping you or hurting you or fouling you to hurt you, nothing.
And that's sometimes that whole piece of integrity, right? It's like, what do you do when people aren't looking, right?
One
You
thousand.
know,
And the same way I am to you is the same way I am to everybody.
that's a good way to live. That's a good way to live. Now, what gives you pride about Canadian basketball today?
Well, first, I just, what I knew, um, is now coming. It's happening. I knew we had the talent. And I know that people are so happy that it's happening now, but we always had it. I think guys just wasn't as confident, but now these guys have the swagger, to play against them. But we've always been good. You know, like you said, we had guys in Winnipeg and BC and whatever, and we
Hmm.
all could play. Even though Ontario has a bunch of players and so, but all over the provinces, guys could always play. But now, the kids are meeting each other at 10 in the AAU tournament in what, Kentucky or something. So everyone's seeing each other from young.
Hmm.
So the Americans are seeing the Canadians and whatever from young. Where back in the day, we're meeting them when we play against them in NCAA or for Team Canada. These guys are seeing each other from really young, and then you're getting taught by ex pros now in Canada instead of just a coach that played somewhere. Like now, you're getting taught by a pro. So the level is totally just the coaching is higher. You're playing against high level competition from 10 years old. It's just exploding.
So, what do you think we need to keep this momentum going?
Well, just keep getting the guys, the coaches to teach them, keep getting the kids staying humble. And I think there's gonna be a chance easily that we're gonna beat USA soon. And
That's a
I
good prediction.
and being alive to see that is crazy. And it's gonna happen.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, I'd love to see that.
for so long they've had it. But then Argentina got them, different countries got them. So why can't Canada get them? And I'm not talking junior national team and student games and all that stuff like that. I'm talking the main event,
Hmm.
the Olympics. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So I'll be, I'll be excited for that. But it's gonna happen because we have some really good players, man. Like
Mm.
watching Shea and Jamal Murray and Dylan Brooks and just there's so much players now. It's amazing to me. Like when I saw all those guys down at the Global Jam, I was just like, yeah, man, I'm a fan, Some of them knew me, but I told them I'm a fan of them.
That's fantastic. Now, what do people sometimes misunderstand about Canadian hoopers?
I think at one time they thought we were soft,
Hmm.
you know, but how are you gonna play against a guy who's soft from Jamaica? You know what I mean?
Caribbean,
From
yeah.
yeah, yeah. That grew up in a hood here and there in Toronto. Like we're
Hmm.
soft in that. And went through some different experiences as a young kid. I got you. Like whatever you want to do, I'm not backing down to you.
Hmm.
Like we're gonna play and we'll see what happens. You can talk all this rah rah stuff, but the ball goes up. Let's see what it is. So they thought I was soft when I went to junior college, when I went to in Texas there, when the other imports from different teams saw me overseas, they're like, "There's a Canadian guy," and before you know it, they're like, "Wait, the Canadian guy is the best player in the league." You know what I mean? So they can think I'm soft all they want, but it just pisses me off more to play against you.
Right. And it's good then, that you're seeing that in our young players now too, is that softness that, other communities may have perceived that
They try
we
to
were.
say all this stuff about Shea and flopping, and they can't guard him.
Hmm. Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah, he's soft to get MVP in the NBA.
that's very true. Yeah, yeah. It's when you close hang a guy, that's a foul.
Exactly. Exactly.
Now, what responsibilities do leaders in basketball have to their communities?
To do stuff the right way. Lots of times people do basketball as a money grab. I had a guy text me the other day saying, Bobby, let's make some money together. I never answered him back. If he would have hit me and told me we're going to change some people's lives, we're going to do all these things, and somehow there's gonna be money made. Yes, but when you lead with money, I'm like, hell no, I'm not gonna rip people off like that. Yes, it's a business. I tell people all the time, but at the same time, don't lead with money. Like, what are we
Mhm.
doing, man? We're gonna get these kids really good. We're gonna get them scholarships. We're gonna do all these things. Okay, I got you, but don't lead me right away talking about money.
That's a very, very valid point. I appreciate that. What would you tell the next great young Canadian player right now?
Just stay humble. Keep your circle small. Work your ass off and give back.
Mhm.
Stay humble. Humble gets it. Like, everyone's gonna be knocking at you, asking you to do this. You're gonna do this. People are gonna do stuff for free, all stuff. Just keep working. Never get satisfied. I think that's one of the biggest things that happened to me was everyone just was dealing with my ego so much that basketball became secondary to me. And a lot of people that was in my life wasn't in my life when I was by myself shooting around. So stay humble and just keep working and be a great person, and whoever you can help, help.
That's great advice. Now let's talk a bit about, some of your, legacy and reflection here. Now, when your players talk about you in 20 years, what do you hope they say?
He cared. He cared. Even though he had a good basketball career, he came in here and was trying to get the best out of me, and he cared about me, not just as a basketball player, but as a human being. So that's me. Basketball doesn't have to be what you do, but at least give everything you have while you're trying to do it. And then
Hmm.
that will translate into whatever you do in life.
Now, okay, now finish this sentence, okay? Basketball gave me,
Basketball gave me everything.
I like that. And in return, I chose to give it.
Everything.
It's beautiful. That makes sense. Yeah. Yeah. Now, if every trophy and stat disappeared, who are you?
I'm still the humble person that before it all came, that I like being by myself. I like just relaxing. I'm scared of people. I just love being by myself. Now I got lucky with my wife and my kids and stuff like that, but they'll tell you, where's dad or where's my husband? He's just sitting there chilling. I don't have to be the center of anyone's attention. No, I just love my
Yeah.
life, and I love that God blessed me to do certain things. But at the end of the day, you can find me just relaxing. I get calls all the time to go parties and do all this stuff, but I end up, if I go somewhere, they're talking about basketball, and I
Yeah.
really don't want to talk about basketball. Because I get it. I play basketball, but I'm here with my wife and my kids, and family. Last thing they want to talk about is basketball. Here we
Right.
go again, Dad. They're talking about basketball.
Yeah. Now, what lesson do you want to outlive your name?
Outlive. Like I said, I just want to be a good person, man.
Hmm.
Be honest. Like I said, the tourist in us, honest person, live good. What you do is what you get. So just be honest person, and just, Bobby was here. He gave me everything. He gave his heart to it. He was honest with me. It was harsh sometimes, but he was honest. So that's what you
Sometimes.
can get. Like I said, when I first started my program, they're like, he's really telling us exactly what we need to hear. He's not trying to sugarcoat anything. It was shocking. And then, later on, now that's what it is. They know, hey, if you're going to go to him, you're going to get that truth.
Truth.
Yeah.
Truth is so important.
Yeah.
Now, what does legacy truly mean to you?
Um, Legacy. Like I said, it's the same thing. My dad is a very honorable man. And hopefully that's what my kids, if anything happens to me, they know my dad was an honorable man too. So because my dad is my hero, right?
That's
So
beautiful.
he's a very honorable man. He stands on integrity, and I want to be known like that too. It's not just about basketball. Good basketball player, but this guy stands on something.
I love that. That's great. Well, you know, I just want to thank you for your time. And, I just wanted to talk, just to sum it up here with, just what I've, learned and what I've gleaned off of, just getting to know you in this time that we've had. And I just want to say greatness isn't measured in banners or box scores. It's measured in lives you lift,
Yes.
the values you pass on, and the character you build in quiet moments. And Bobby Allen, your journey is a testament to discipline, humility, faith, and the power of community. Thank you for planting seeds that will grow after the final whistle. I'm Gerard Damon, and this has been Across This Quiet Land, Stories from the Hearts of Canada. Stay humble, stay hungry, stay positive, and build something that lasts. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
All right, cool.